All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about something that affects millions and millions of men, but for some reason almost never gets talked about. It's called andropause. It's a part of aging that's just been wrapped in silence and, frankly, a lot of confusion for way too long.
You've probably heard it called the male menopause, right? But is that even the right term? Is it actually a thing? Does it really happen? That's the big question we're going to dig into here, using the real data to find out what's going on.
So first off, you need to understand the scale of this. This is not some rare condition we're talking about. It's a slow, gradual change that usually starts kicking in for guys after the age of 40. It's a totally normal part of getting older, but it's one we just don't seem to discuss. Okay, so let's tackle that male menopause idea head-on. It's a catchy name for sure, but it's not really accurate. The biggest difference is all about speed. You see, menopause in women is a pretty sudden stop in hormone production. Andropause, on the other hand, is much more like a slow, steady dimmer switch being turned down over years, even decades.
So if it's this slow, gradual decline, what's actually going on inside the body? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the science behind it.
It all really boils down to this cool hormonal chain reaction. It starts up in the brain, which sends out a signal. The pituitary gland gets that signal and sends out its own set of hormones. And those hormones travel down to the testes with a very specific message. Hey, make some testosterone. It's a really fine-tuned system that just works, day in and day out, for decades.
But you know, as guys get older, that well-oiled machine starts to, well, slow down a bit. The research is pretty clear that after about age 35, a man's testosterone levels start to drop by an average of 1% every single year.
Now, 1% a year, I know, it might not sound like a huge deal, but it really adds up. That little 1% becomes a 10% drop every single decade. So, by the time a man's in his 50s or 60s, what started as this tiny little trickle has turned into a pretty significant hormonal shift. So that's the science. But a 10% drop in a hormone isn't just a number on some lab report, you know? It has a real, tangible effect on how you feel and how you live your life. People often just brush these things off as getting older, but it's a lot more specific than that. And the symptoms are kind of all over the map, affecting pretty much everything. You've got the physical or somatic symptoms. We're talking about stuff like feeling tired all the time, losing muscle, putting on more body fat. Then there's the psychological side, mood swings, feeling irritable or anxious. And of course, there are the sexual symptoms, like a lower sex drive or erectile dysfunction.
When you look at data on how severe these symptoms can get, it's pretty eye-opening. A study from Sheikh Khalifa University Hospital gives us a snapshot. While almost 40% of the men in their study had severe physical symptoms, look at that number for sexual symptoms. A staggering 69% reported them as severe. That tells you right there where the impact is often felt the hardest.
And if we zoom in on just those sexual symptoms, the numbers get even clearer. In that exact same group of men, only 8% said they had no issues at all. That means more than 9 out of 10 men were dealing with this on some level, and the vast majority of them felt their symptoms were severe. Okay, so those are some pretty powerful statistics. But again, let's pull it back from the charts and the numbers. What does all of this actually feel like? How does it get in the way of just living your day? Because here's the thing. These symptoms, they don't just stay in one box. They create this huge ripple effect that can touch every single part of a man's life, from his job to his relationships at home. Let's start with work. A major study out of Japan found something pretty shocking. If a guy had just moderate symptoms, he was over 7 times more likely to report having severe difficulty at his job. But for those with severe symptoms, that number shoots up to more than 21 times. That's huge.
And if you think that's a big number, wait till you see the impact on social life. It's even more dramatic. The odds of having severe trouble with friends, family, just relationships in general, it jumped by over 37 times for men with severe symptoms. This isn't just feeling a little off. This is something that can lead to real, profound isolation.
And that ripple effect, it follows you right into your own home. Even just doing basic chores around the house can become a major challenge. The same study found that men with severe symptoms were 8.5 times more likely to struggle with daily housework. It just shows how this condition really gets into every corner of your life.
Okay, and now we have to talk about the most serious part of this. The psychological toll these symptoms can take is just immense. And as one study very soberingly put it, the connection can be profound and, well, it can be life-threatening. And to put a hard number on that, One community study found that men with severe symptoms had over 10 times the odds of reporting suicidal thoughts. This just completely changes the conversation. This isn't just about quality of life anymore. This is a serious, serious mental health red flag.
So, after hearing all of that, the big question is, what can be done? And the good news is, this isn't some hopeless situation. There is absolutely a path forward, and this is a manageable condition. Look, managing andropause isn't about finding some fountain of youth or reversing aging. It's about taking a smart, proactive, and holistic approach. It's a mix of practical lifestyle changes, healthy habits, and sometimes medical help, all designed to make the symptoms better and just improve your overall quality of life.
So what does that look like? Well, it starts with the basics, right? Lifestyle stuff, exercise, diet, trying to manage stress. Then, you've got to have regular checkups with your doctor to see where your levels are at. For some guys, hormone replacement therapy, or HRT, might be an option. And maybe most importantly, just talking about it. With your partner, your family, that support is absolutely critical.
Which brings us right back around to where we started. That whole male menopause question. Does it really happen? Well, based on everything we've just seen, from the biology of it to the very real, very measurable impact it has on men's lives, the answer is a clear and simple yes. It is absolutely a real phenomenon.
And that just leaves us with one last, really crucial question. When you see how deep the effects of this go, physically, mentally, socially, and you know it's affecting millions and millions of men, shouldn't we be talking about this? Isn't it finally time we broke the silence?